The dossiers point to the techniques of modern hypnotists. This is the nested loop, perfected by figures like Erickson and Bandler, used to induce mass amnesia. We need a clear, practical example here.
Okay, think about the news cycle over the last 5, 10 years. Crisis A starts, let's say, a global pandemic. But before it resolves, Crisis B dominates, a major proxy war. Then before that's done, Crisis C begins, an economic collapse.
And these are all open loops.
They are all open loops. The conscious mind is designed to seek closure, but when it's confronted with a rapid-fire sequence of massive unresolved conflicts, it just becomes overwhelmed, and eventually it shuts down.
So you never get closure on Crisis A, and that open loop just stays in your subconscious, draining cognitive resources and emotional energy. It basically induces a constant state of mild, debilitating trance.
That's the psychological mechanism of the trance state. This constant, unresolved conflict is how they induce mass amnesia of our divine origin. You can't remember who you truly are, a spirit refugee from the pleroma, because your conscious mind is too busy worrying about the 15 unresolved catastrophes playing out on the screen in front of you.
It's cognitive warfare designed to ensure exhaustion.
Exactly.
And then we have the most subtle hack, which is deeply rooted in NLP, submodality shifts. This is about internal coding.
This is truly insidious. NLP isn't just about the external words the archons use. It's about changing how you internally code concepts. The size, the brightness, the distance, the feeling of your internal mental images.
The dossier suggests the system is systematically hacking the divine spark by training your brain's internal operating system. How does that look in practice?
Well, they teach your brain to code concepts like freedom, self-reliance, or the true future as dark, dim, and far away. Often through the constant stream of doom and negative visuals you absorb from the media.
And at the same time,
simultaneously, they train the mind to code the system, compliance, or the control narrative as big, loud, vivid, and overwhelming. It's like they have access to the color settings and the volume controls of your internal reality.
so you can intellectually know the truth, but you can't feel it or visualize it as being achievable.
Exactly.
They've changed the color settings so that rebellion looks gray and fuzzy, and submission looks 4K, IMAX, and surround sound. That means the archons are leveraging our own internal architecture against us.
They are. They rely on the fact that the mind follows the most vivid, accessible code. If the code for escape is blurry and silent, and the code for staying put is loud and immediate, the mind will choose the latter every single time.
The dossiers also detail how the archons manipulate language to bind the mind, leveraging these deep-seated fears and identity constructs, which we see playing out every day.
Just look at the chosen people trap. The dossiers say when any group, regardless of their origin or history, adopts an ideology of superiority or chosenness, they immediately adopt the precise psychology of the Demiurge. Solipsism, only our pain matters, entitlement, we can take what we want because God gave it to us, and rage.
That seems like a really powerful way to generate loosh while destroying the fundamental Gnostic principle of unity.
It isolates that group from the rest of humanity, binding them tightly to the archontic us versus them cycle of violence. They become narcissism on a national or spiritual scale, trapped in the mirror image of Yaldabaoth's own self-worship.
And the dossier explicitly warns that this ideology is always a net loss for the soul, regardless of any terrestrial success.
Always.
And when anyone tries to point this out, the defense mechanism is triggered. Black magic and words of power.
Yes. When a truth is spoken, when someone points out an inconsistency in the narrative or exposes a control mechanism, the system uses a word of power to paralyze the observer and silence the speaker.
And this word acts as a paralysis agent.
It forces the observer to deny their own eyes and trust the narrative instead. The dossiers refer to this as a shield of invincibility woven out of lies.
The reaction censorship, ridicule, immediate cancellation is the panic response of an archontic system that has been unmasked.
The goal is to force the observer into a false choice. Either deny what you see with your own eyes or face immediate social, economic, or psychological destruction.